Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. Well, happy Saturday afternoon. I feel like I'm starting to regain control of my eating disorder. So I learned the hard way this spring how difficult it is to keep a healthy eating goal when you're dealing with life stresses. I used to think, see, I started my healthy eating journey relatively early in my life. I quit drinking soda when I was 16 years old, and I thought that was the easiest thing I ever did. But what I forgot was that I was 16 years old. I didn't have the responsibilities that I have today. If I were still drinking soda today, it might not be as easy to quit it. And it makes me sad that our lives move at this kind of pace and that we play so many mind games with each other, because that's what's been killing me on my recent healthy eating journeys. I quit drinking soda when I was 16. I quit all refined white sugar when I was 17. But I really didn't watch my relationship with healthier foods until I was in my 30s, if you could believe it. I had a decade or two where I just ate healthy, but I didn't care about the quantity. I didn't care about the relationship I had with the food, and I really didn't think about it until recently with the current events. But what really destroyed me this past year, two things really destroyed my healthy eating goals. Number one was that obviously we had to return to in-person work, and with that, the stresses of seeing your bosses face to face and the stresses of commuting especially. The seeing people face to face, I like it in some regard, but commuting is all just completely negative, especially here in the United States. You drive in your own personal car, you're not networking with people. At least, if you live in Europe, if you live in an Asian culture and you're taking a bus, a subway, at least you get to network with a lot of people, right? When I was in Taiwan a couple months ago, every day when I took the train, I was staying in a hotel in Tomsway, and I would take a train into Taipei. It's a 1 hour train ride. I remember thinking of that as almost like a speed dating event. I really did. I really did. And not that I met anybody out of it, but that was fun. But that doesn't happen here in the United States, obviously, right? Here in the United States, your commute it's more like a war, not a speed date, right? And I can't tell you how many times I had to use this weapon on the road. Other people usually use that, right? It was like a war. And that, and also my recent return to the dating scene has also derailed everything. A lot of people who have long since found somebody in their lives tend to forget. Let me refresh everybody. This past week, I went on 3 dates. One of them was kind of awkward because it was kind of last minute, and we weren't really relationship material. But a lot of times these things have a tendency to go up and down. Up one moment you're not sure if they're going to show up. Yesterday, I was at the carnival at the campus, and I wasn't sure if my friend was going to show up. She was late, and I just have to hold my breath there. And that's the kind of turbulence that causes me to overindulge in other ways, right? And I got a long distance relationship going on in Taiwan as well. Now, this past part of the reason I turned around my eating disorder was that on Wednesday, I teach at a community college. On Wednesday, we had a midterm exam. And after I had handed out the exams, I got to sit at my desk to proctor the students, and I got a little bit bored out of my mind, and I started drawing on a piece of paper. And I thought to myself, gee, I haven't been eating right these last couple of days. And I started doodling from memory what I had eaten in the last 3 days, and I probably didn't even remember all of it. And even then, when I looked at the sheet of paper, this is all the food that I eaten in 3 days, I was grossed out of my mind. I literally walked over closer to the trash can just in case I needed to vomit. I felt sick to my stomach. It turns out I didn't vomit, but I estimated, and keep in mind, this is probably a lower estimate because I probably didn't remember everything that I ate. In the space of 3 days, I had about 20,000 calories altogether, and I was grossed out of my mind. It's funny. How come I'm not gross when I'm eating it? Only afterwards when I recall that am I gross, right? And so I vowed not to eat anything for the next day and a half, and then I got really dizzy at the end of Thursday. You guys saw I collapsed on a park bench near the school, and then I had the dramas of yesterday going to the carnival, not knowing if my date was going to show up, and I quickly went back to eating again, and it's just a no-win situation. It really goes to show how stressed our lives are. In an ideal world, we wouldn't be working so many hours, and we would be much more open with our communications rather than keeping people up and down, up and down, up and down, right? And also we wouldn't be so insistent on returning to the office. There's plenty of work that can be done from home, right? This is the Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum. The Peter Dislike Show. Bum 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 bum.